Hi kids, Mr. Ta here, and I'm going to talk to you about leads and why you should care about revising them. The honest truth is this: you have about 30 seconds to get your reader's attention and keep it. Be honest. Have you ever taken a book, looked at it for about 30 seconds, and then went, oh, I don't know, I'm just not into it, and you put it down? Be honest, you've done that. And that's because you were not hooked by the lead. So, what we need to do is make sure that people actually read our stories by creating great leads. And so, leads have three objectives. A good lead should accomplish three things. One, it should hook the reader, it should grab their attention and make them want to read. Two, it should introduce the story elements. It should introduce characters or setting or the problem, something. You're going to basically tell people what to expect in this story. And the third thing is it must intrigue the reader to wonder what happens next. Intrigue means basically makes them wonder what's coming up. So they keep on reading. If it is not doing all of these three things, then you should revise it. You should add things or change things or cut things to make it accomplish these three things. So let me give you an example of how a lead can introduce and intrigue people. Let's take an example from Sylvester and the Magic Pebble. Here, I'll read the first two paragraphs from that book. Sylvester Duncan lived with his mother and father at Acorn Road in Oatsdale. One of his hobbies was collecting pebbles of unusual shape and color. On a rainy Saturday during vacation, he found quite an extraordinary one. It was flaming red, shiny, and perfectly round. Notice that in these two paragraphs, look, the character's name and the description and their hobby is mentioned over here. We know it's Sylvester Duncan. We know that he's young because he lives with his mom and dad in Acorn Road, Oatsdale, wherever that happens to be, some sort of fictional town named after oats. And we know that he's got a hobby that he collects pebbles. So automatically, that one paragraph tells us a whole bunch about the character. And then you look here. Now we see this rainy Saturday during vacation. We've got some setting. We find this flaming red, shiny, and perfectly round pebble. Ooh, because that's unusual. You don't usually find pebbles that are flaming red and shiny and perfectly round, so it makes us want to read more. You get it? So let's try another one. Here's another one. Whizzle. So let's read these two paragraphs. Whizzle the witch was busy biting her nails. Beatrice, she said, I'm bored stiff. Well, you've been perched on your behind for so long, you're stinking the place up, said the parrot. Now go make somebody suffer. Now, look again. You'll see in the very beginning, we know that the witch's name is Whizzle. We have some description of her. What is she? She is a witch. We know that she bites her nails. We know that she's got a parrot named Beatrice. And we also know that she's got a problem, that she's bored. So we are being introduced to the character and the problem. And then kind of look here. Ooh, go make somebody suffer, says the parrot. So now we know that we're going to read the story and go, what are they going to do to make somebody suffer? You see, you get it? No matter what, the lead makes us want to keep reading. What you don't want to do is just bore people by just telling people, one day we went to the beach. One day stories, frankly, it's one of the most boring leads you can start with because, of course, the story starts on one day. It didn't start on 3 days or 5 days. So it's not a really, really great way of introducing story elements and making them intrigued. So when you are looking at your stories, ask yourself, am I doing these things? Am I hooking the reader? Am I introducing some form of story elements like the characters or the setting or the problem? And are my readers intrigued? And are they wondering what happens next? And if it's not doing all these three things, revise it. Add things, change things, cut things, experiment with a completely different lead if you have to. Bottom line is, you don't want them to be bored. Until next time, I'm Mr. Ta.